Hello, fourth graders. We are starting math for our first time online. We're going to be starting with lesson 8.3. Just quick comment. I am recording this just like I do at school, but if you hear a rooster crow, that's because I happen to be at home instead of in the classroom, so you won't hear the parakeets. You might hear a rooster or a dog. So we're on lesson 8.3. And that is page 325 in your big book. We're going to actually try to keep this as similar to what we do in math class as possible. Unfortunately, you won't be able to ask questions, but we'll try to go through everything and make sure you have a good understanding of each lesson. Remember, we are in fractions. We are multiplying fractions by whole numbers in this particular lesson. So are you on page 325? Hope so. You can always pause this if you need to get to that page. We start out with Raphael and the violin, and we know that he's practicing 3/4 of an hour every day. He has a recital in 3 days, so we want to know how much time he'll practice in 3 days. This 3 represents the number of days that he has to practice. He's practicing 3/4 of an hour. So if we have this picture, we can literally color these in and say, well, there's 3/4, and there's 3/4, and there's 3/4 of an hour. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have one group of 3/4 is 3/4 right here. Two groups, we added it up, that is now 6/4. As you can see, 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 adds all of our fourths. That's 9/4. An easy way to write it is just like this, a whole number times a fraction. Remember, we don't multiply the denominator, so it's 3 times 3 is 9/4. So he practiced, well, is it 9/4 of an hour? Well, yes. We'll get to later how we are going to change this to whole numbers and mixed numbers, but for now, we use this improper fraction. What we can do here to find this is repeated addition. Remember, multiplication and addition are related, so repeated addition would just be doing this 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4, because we want the 3/4, 3 of them, and you know that 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9, so we get the same thing when we multiply or when we do repeated addition. So we're going to go to the next page and look at some more pictures here. We have in this first group 6ths. Both of our bars are divided into 6ths. In each one of the bars, there's just 1/6 colored. So we have 2, because here's one of them, and here's the other, 1/6. There are 2 whole groups. This is a whole group here. This is a whole group here. There is a fraction 1/6. This is 1/6. That's 1/6. So 2 times 1 is 2/6. You're probably saying to yourself or out loud, well, that's easy. Hope you are. Here we have 2 wholes again. We're multiplying the 2 wholes times our fraction. This time our fraction isn't 1/6 because we have 2 of them colored in each whole. So now this is 2/6. 2 times 2 is 4, and you can see we can count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we go up to 3/6, that's our fraction now. We have 3/6 in this hole and 3/6 in this hole. 2 holes still. 2 times 3 is 6/6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, you know, 6/6 equals 1. If we put both of these groups of 3 together, it would equal 1 whole bar, wouldn't it? So when we multiply a fraction by a whole number, the numerator and the product is the product of the whole number. Remember, we multiply with that whole number. So write that in, please. And again, if it doesn't quite fit in the blank, that's okay. And the numerator of the fraction. We don't multiply that denominator. The denominator just sits there, remember, to show how many pieces our whole was divided into. We multiply the whole number and the numerator, the denominator is the same as the total, or total pieces, or we could say of the denominator. It doesn't change, whichever way you want to look at it. Denominator, let's see. It's the same. This denominator is the same as our answer denominator. It is still the same number of the total pieces that we have the object divided into. So let's go to the next page. This is our practice page before you do your assignment today. We are finding the product. Remember that word product we've learned this year always means multiply. So if you see product, that translates into multiply. So 1 times 5 is 5/8. 2 times 5, remember of, also represents multiplying. 2 times 5 is 10. We can look at that picture here. There's 5 and another 5. That makes 10. 3 groups of 5. You can count up the picture or simply multiply. 3 times 5 is 15/8. So again, the product of the whole number and the fraction is 15/8 because that denominator just stays there. It just says that each whole is divided into 8. So please do number 2 by yourself right quick, and then check it out and see if you get what I'm putting down. Hopefully you got 8/5. We have 4 in one of our wholes and 4 in the other. So 2 times 4 is 8. Remember, we don't multiply the 5. The 5 only shows us that one whole is divided into 5 pieces. You don't want to change that because we're not changing the pieces that this is divided into. We're just multiplying the total number of pieces. Okay, try number 3. Hopefully you got 8/3. Number 4. Five times 3 is 15. 10th stays the same. Number 5, 4 times 5 is 20. And 6th stays the same. Well, to make the video shorter, we're not going to spend a lot of time with these. I think you probably have the idea, but if you don't, please run through those with Mom or Dad and make sure you understand it. And your assignment is your skinny page, Lesson 3, Chapter 8, Lesson 3, your skinny page. Have fun!